Hey, this is Scott, and today I just wanted to make a quick little video to go over some of these SmallRig parts that I'm using in my C200 shoulder rig. First of all, yes, I know there's no camera on here right now. I'm recording with it, and I will show you, of course, some video clips and pictures over this with the camera on here just to show you how it all works. But of course, I'm using it right now. So I just wanted to show you these parts and kind of how I have them set up and talk about how they work and what my thought process was in developing this kind of setup. Of course, there's an endless amount of ways you can set up a shoulder rig depending on the lens size, the accessories, the batteries, and everything like that. So this is, for me, just kind of a more simple setup. I don't want to use an external battery. I don't want to have to use an external monitor if I don't have to. I did end up using some Zacuto parts, the top plate and the handle and the Z finder, just to kind of get that C200 screen out further from the camera so I could have it at a good position with this setup. But SmallRig does also have some solutions for that as well, so I'm going to leave those out of this video. I will make another video about those Zacuto parts specifically. For now, I just want to talk about these SmallRig parts. And again, I wanted to base this off of the SmallRig C200 Baseplate and see what I could build from there. But you could use, of course, other base plates, other setups like this. It doesn't have to be this particular one. This is just what I wanted to try and build and see how I could make it work. One of my main concerns in kind of building this up is that I wanted to get this as balanced as possible. I wanted to get the weight as centered over my shoulder as possible. A lot of the pictures I've seen with the C200 end up using the shoulder pad on 50mm rods out behind it. And the camera ends up, kind of way out here, and I feel like that's really unbalanced. You're going to get very tired, most likely, or you're going to need a lot of counterweight to really get that to end up being balanced. I didn't want to have to go through all that. I just wanted it to be balanced as it is, and that means that I would have to get basically the shoulder pad under the camera itself. So I had to kind of figure this out in a way that could make it work. The C200 base plate has RE dovetail on the bottom, so ideally, I would love to have one of these shoulder pads with RE dovetails built into the top, but this actually ended up working out even better because I have a little bit more flexibility in the positioning of both the shoulder pad and the base plate or the camera itself. So that way, when I'm switching lenses to a larger lens or a smaller lens, I can very quickly and easily just loosen this up and slide it to the correct position, and then get the balance for that particular setup. And it's really easy to switch on the fly like that. And you can also adjust the position of this actual shoulder pad in here. This part here is a RE dovetail kind of dream rig part that they made for me. Thank you to them. Thank you to SmallRig for making that. It has, instead of the single screw holes like the standard RE dovetail does, this has a kind of long space in the middle where you can screw screws into it from the top, which is necessary to attach the shoulder pad underneath it. And also it does have these rosettes at the front here, so you can attach the arms directly to this. And this becomes kind of the center, the base for the whole rig. But you could easily, move these, loosen these screws and slide the shoulder pad further back or further forward. I have it sort of in the middle now, and it works out pretty well. And then you can adjust the camera position itself in relation to that shoulder pad, depending on what lens you have, or if you want it a little bit less balanced, if you're okay with being a little less balanced and you want to have the buttons a little bit more accessible, or for whatever reason, you can slide the camera more forward, and then you could use also a counterweight. You can still attach rods to this in here as well. So I think there's a lot of flexibility here in terms of different setups. When you add stuff, when you take stuff off, you can very quickly slide this around to regain balance, and I think that's kind of what I was going for. The C200 base plate itself has this plate that you attach to the bottom of the C200, and you can actually attach it using all 4 of the screw holes on the bottom of the C200 if you want. It has all of those lined up in here. And on the bottom there's a Arca Swiss plate. It might have been a little bit more useful if this was not Arca Swiss. I think a lot of video tripods are not using Arca Swiss plates. If it was Manfrotto compatible or something, that'd probably be a little bit more useful. You could pop it off here and put it on a tripod a little bit more easily. But it is an Arca Swiss plate, and you can just drop it in here and tighten that down. So you can remove this if you want to go handheld suddenly or something like that. You can remove this very quickly and easily. And the base plate is wide. It gets a very secure connection to the bottom of the C200, which is nice. And then, like I said, again, on the bottom of here, you have the RE dovetail attachment here like this, and there are also some screw holes in the bottom where you could attach other base plates if you want, other tripod plates. I mean, if you want to put a Manfrotto plate on the bottom of here, but again, I felt like that was kind of wasting the RE dovetail that's already on here. It's built into here, so I wanted to figure out a design that could utilize that. It's solid. It's made just like everything else from SmallRig is. So if you've used anything from SmallRig, you'll know how well this is made. There are different options. This is the one that I chose just to see what I could build with it, and this is how it worked for me. Again, I mentioned this DreamRig part. I think it's not actually available right now, but they will probably be making it very soon. So if you get in touch with them and you request it, hopefully they will make this into a standard part very soon. It's just the RE dovetail here with the rosettes at the front. And again, it does have the difference here from the standard RE plate. Let me get that just to show you. The standard RE plate has these holes in it, and you can't actually screw anything from the top, because if you do, the screw head will get in the way of anything sliding on here. So you could put this onto your tripod. You can attach a tripod plate at the bottom, put this on your tripod, and then you could remove your whole camera from this shoulder rig and put this onto your tripod just like that if you have one of these on your tripod as well. And that's kind of how I've been using it. But this is different. Like I said, it has that whole space in the center there. You can screw stuff in from the top. Again, my one complaint about this is just a simple one. It didn't come with any screws, obviously, so I had to kind of rummage for a couple of random screws that I could find laying around, but this worked. You could get other screws, of course. And I just screwed it straight into this shoulder pad at the bottom here, which is very, very comfortable. I really like this shoulder pad. It's very, very comfortable, very well padded, and yeah, I would definitely recommend that as it is, that piece. For arms here, I went with actually just the shortest arms that SmallRig makes, the shortest rosette arms, and they're actually really well positioned for me. I think because of the way it connects to here, I can get my elbows into my body really tight for, you know, a very secure and comfortable hold. They do have arms that are a little bit longer than this as well, and also extending arms that you can adjust the length. But these have worked out fine for me. I don't have any complaints. Again, they're well made. You know, it's SmallRig. Everything works just fine. They have these little screws on the side where you can loosen and tighten them and adjust their position very easily. And yeah, there's a couple options you could do with that depending on your body size or just the way you want to hold it. I've also attached the C200 handle to here, the C200 grip, and I'm using a Zacuto extension cable to get this connected to the C200 body. But it's really nice to have this here as well, because I can start and stop recording. I can change the aperture if I need to. I can have access to the joystick to move the autofocus box, for example, and I have this function button programmed to switch between face detect autofocus and standard autofocus. So if I'm recording a person, I can switch quickly to face detect, or if I don't want the focus to change and there's not a person in the screen, using face detect kind of shuts off autofocus in effect because there's no face there, and I can control it manually. Or if I want to use the standard autofocus and move the box around, I can just push that and switch to that mode and then move the box around and use that like that. So for me, this has been a very functional setup, a very nice way to use it. Again, everybody's shooting style is different. Maybe this doesn't quite work for you, but this grip does fit on this arm with no problem. I know I've heard some things about certain parts don't really play well with this grip, the screw in this grip, but this is no problem. It fits in here tightly, securely, and with no issues. And on the other side, I just have one of the SmallRig rubber grips here, and this is actually really nice. It feels really good. It's a good grip. I hate to repeat myself, but it's well made, obviously. I do like this grip. I have a couple of them, so if you don't want to use, or if you can't use because you don't have this extension cable, I wish that SmallRig would make one of these as well. If you don't use this C200 grip on here, you could have one of these on both sides, and then, you know, just reach up to the camera to start and stop recording, or change the aperture if you have the dial on the body programmed to that. But again, this is my setup. Everybody's different. Like I said, I don't have any rods in here at the moment, but of course you could attach some 50mm rods here if you want to use a matte box or follow focus, or attach a battery in the back, a V-lock battery or something in the back. The only thing, of course, with that is if you're using a matte box and your lens is right here, it might get in the way. So in that case, you might need to move this up a little further forward, and you could put some kind of counterweight in the back, or just deal with the weight. But again, with this setup, you could very, very quickly and easily slide this all the way to the front, and then you have no problem. You got your matte box out here in the standard position. If you have a follow focus too, that's probably a better position. Everything's not so cramped. But for me, you know, having this far back without using a matte box or a follow focus has worked out well. The exhaust from the fan actually doesn't bother me too much either. This way, it's actually a little bit behind my head because the camera is far back. That does mean you have to get the LCD out quite far to be in a good position to see it clearly, but again, the Zacuto parts have helped me in that respect, which I'll make a separate video about. And also, you know, I know the buttons on the side of the camera, so I can quickly reach back and I can start and stop recording, adjust my white balance, or turn on, you know, waveforms, or turn them off, or do whatever I need to do. Right from here, all the buttons are, for me, accessible enough. I know the layout well enough that I don't really have to look at it. If I need to, I can, you know, just roll it off to the side a little bit and look at it. I don't see any really big, huge downside to this being so far back, except that, of course, if you're using a matte box or follow focus, it might be awkward. So in that case, just slide it forward. Still, I would highly recommend these parts. So I will have links to all of these parts that I mentioned down below in the description. So if you want to see their pricing or just kind of figure out what you could build up for yourself, you can check there and it will take you over to SmallRig's website. You can see what they have. If you have any questions or comments about anything, let me know down below and I will definitely get back to you. If you like this video or find it helpful, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to see more in the future, and as always, thank you for watching.